I'm going to present the AWAKE study, a study for new kidney transplant recipients that Alexion is performing. My name is Sanela Galiashevich-Terabar. I am a Senior Medical Director in Clinical Development Sciences, Nephrology, and Transplant. First, I will start with commitment of Alexion, AstraZeneca rare disease, which is delivering life-changing therapies to people living with rare disease. And I will read our mission. Our mission is to transform the lives of people affected by rare diseases and devastated conditions by continuously innovating and creating meaningful value in all that we do. Every day in our work is in inspiration, and what's in the core of this inspiration is people living with rare and devastating disease. Our mission is to transform the lives of people affected by rare and devastating diseases by continuously innovating and creating meaningful value in all that we do. We believe it is our responsibility to listen to, understand, and change the lives of patients and those who work tirelessly to help them. Let me talk about clinical trial diversity, or CTD. Our goal is to include patients from many different backgrounds so we can better understand and solve health differences in communities around the world. We can do that only by including participants from rare and diverse patient groups. This eventually helps us creating treatments for everyone who needs them. And how we do it? Well, we use research and community partnerships to reach more patients and build stronger studies. We also bring together experts from different parts of our company to find new and better ways to make our trials more inclusive. So I'm going to switch gears and talk more specifically about the AWAKE study. What is delayed graft function, or DGF?
DGF is the failure of a transplanted kidney to function after transplantation. Although the definition of DGF varies, most will define it as an acute kidney injury that occurs within the first week after transplantation, requiring dialysis. In this graph here, you see the kidney, and if, because of medical reasons and it not functioning, dialysis has to be applied any time in this first week, in the 7 days post-surgery or after the surgery takes place, the diagnosis of DGF is given. How common is DGF? It is quite common, and it occurs about approximately 31% of patients who receive a kidney transplant. DGF risk factors are primarily clinically based. A significant proportion of kidney transplants rely on brain dead donors, and they overall have inferior outcomes compared to kidneys from living donors. Also, it is worth noting that kidney transplants from deceased donor transplantation after circulatory death can have DGF appearing in 55.1%. Is DGF becoming more common? In recent years, due to a shortage of donor kidneys, organs that are at a higher risk for developing DGF are being transplanted more frequently.
What causes DGF and why is it important? Well, transplant itself is a complex procedure, so therefore there are many factors affecting DGF. They are grouped here in 3 categories. There are donor-related factors such as source of the donated kidneys, deceased versus living, donor age. There is another group of recipient-related factors such as pre-transplant dialysis. This simply means if the patient is on dialysis and is to receive kidney, the risk of DGF is going to be higher. Prior kidney transplant, if the patient received kidney transplant in the past, there is increased risk of DGF. And there are other factors, most of which are related to transportation of the kidney, how long the organ was stored before the transplant. The key driver of DGF is what's in scientific community called ischemia reperfusion injury, which basically is injury or damage that happens to the kidney once the kidney is taken from the donor's body and implanted into recipient's body, and the circulation first being stopped and then resumed abruptly once recipient blood begins flowing into the kidney again. Why is the duration of DGF important? So there is a study in UK that has shown that DGF lasting more than 14 days is associated with increased risk of kidney transplant failure and death. How is DGF treated and how might the complement system be involved? Currently, there is no approved treatment for DGF. What is the complement system? The complement system is a part of the immune system and is essential to the body's defense against infection. When it's functioning properly, it protects the body against harmful invaders. However, when the system is thrown out of balance or dysregulated, the proteins can trigger dangerous, uncontrolled cascades of reactions that attack cells and tissues. Why might complement inhibition help with DGF? Well, there is increasing evidence that activation of the complement system plays a crucial role in ischemia reperfusion injury. In general, what one should know about clinical research studies. The journey to bringing a new treatment to market can take many years and includes clinical trials. A clinical trial is a research study in human volunteers that is intended to answer specific health questions. In most countries, the local health agencies, such as FDA in the US, require that a potential therapy be tested before it can be approved to be available for patients with a specific disease or condition. Clinical trials are conducted in phases. The trial at each phase have a different purpose and help scientists answer different questions. Participation in any clinical research study is completely voluntary, and you may withdraw from a clinical research study at any time for any reason. So this particular study is called AWAKE and is a phase 3 trial to assess the safety and effectiveness of a single dose of ravulizumab in reducing the severity of DGF after kidney transplantation in adults with end-stage kidney disease on dialysis. This slide goes over the study specifics. It is phase 3, double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled, multi-center study to evaluate the efficacy and safety of ravulizumab versus placebo administered intravenously in adult participants with end-stage kidney disease on dialysis who are at high risk of delayed graft function after kidney transplantation. The study has several stages. The first one is screening, and it happens up to 7 days before transplant surgery. And during this period, it is determined if interested individuals can join the study. This is followed by dosing, which encompasses a single intravenous dose of ravulizumab or placebo before transplant surgery. And this phase is followed by primary evaluation period, which is a period from transplant to 90 days post-transplant. During this period, participants will be monitored for their health. And finally, there is long-term follow-up period that extends from 91 days post-transplant up to 360 days, during which study team will continue to check on participants' health. During the primary evaluation period and the long-term follow-up, participants will receive standard of care Background therapy with a kidney transplant. I have to emphasize that the study treatment, standard of care treatments, travel, and the ongoing monitoring of participants' health will be provided at no cost. Insurance is not needed to join this study. Compensation and travel reimbursement may be available. How can patients enroll and be considered for this study? There are certain eligibility criteria, and the main ones are stated here. The patients need to be 18 years or older. The patients need to have a diagnosis of dialysis-dependent end-stage kidney disease, meaning that they have to be on dialysis, and that they have to have undergone at least 1 year of dialysis treatment. There are additional requirements and criteria which the study team will be happy to discuss with interested individuals. So the key takeaway messages here are: when a patient receives a kidney transplant, there is a chance that the new kidney does not immediately start working, does not work at all potentially. This condition is called delayed graft function, or DGF. In patients with DGF, a kidney may not function properly within 7 days after transplant, in which case dialysis is needed and is continued until the kidney starts working. Dialysis as a procedure can result in complications such as low blood pressure, blood clotting, and long periods of hospitalization. In recent years, due to a shortage of donor kidneys, organs that are at a higher risk for developing DGF are being transplanted more frequently. And this study assesses the safety and efficacy of ravulizumab use in patients getting a kidney transplant who may be at risk for DGF. For more information, please contact clinicaltrials@alexion.com, talk with your doctor, or visit clinicaltrials.gov. Thank you for your attention.